Yeah, we had a dietitian. I really appreciated this quote, and I really liked it. And this quote was something about like moderation and like good human nutrition means that sometimes you overconsume, sometimes you underconsume, sometimes you celebrate events with people, and it's about culture, and it's not so much about measuring and tracking and all this stuff. And through my nutritional journey, I have loved that quote, and I am so jealous of anybody who can approach it that way. And as much as I love that quote, I know that myself and you and many, many other people out there have to abstain. They have to be abstainers. Maybe if it's not even the one thing, it's the cascade of events that triggers afterwards is just terrible. And for some people, you can't touch it.
I felt shame. I felt so much shame, and it's not there anymore. So I know attempting to moderate whenever you're addicted is just it just makes it deeper and deeper into your illness. Just brings you deeper and deeper into it. So you definitely don't want to moderate. And then there's denial. You have denial. Well, I can just eat one, or I can just go out with the girls this one night and have one. But you just got to learn how to protect yourself, plan and protect yourself from yourself.
Yeah,
That's what I tell
yeah.
people.
That's amazing. Well, you've got so many certifications with this. I want to start off by talking about the certification you have with Bitten Johnson. Just a legend in this world. And I would love to learn about her program. The sugar program that we mentioned in the introduction is an acronym. So maybe we could go through that. But can you tell us about some of the things you learned in particular with that program?
Yeah, and sugar doesn't mean just sugar, the white stuff. Sugar is any highly palatable food that's going to make you keep wanting it. It's, grains, flours, sugar. And, the bread, people that are addicted to bread are even harder to get off sugar than the rest of us. Uh,
Good point.
there's something in the gut microbiome, in the gluten that does something. So it makes it harder for us to get. And I used to love bread. So that was really hard. Those are the ones that want to, try to find the different keto bread options and make different kinds of stuff that looks like bread. But sugar is a diagnostic tool. It's based on DSM-5 and ICD-10. It's the only one like it in the world, and it has inherited validity from ADIS, which is Alcohol Drug Diagnostic Instrument. If you're not familiar with that, but it screens not only this diagnostic tool, which is like 69 or 67 questions. I can't remember how many there are, but it screens for depression, for general anxiety disorder, PTSD, stress, nicotine, caffeine, subscription pills, and gambling. And at the end, most clients will say that's the first time they felt like they've ever been heard, because you talk about so many things in there. And then you can give them you'll give them a treatment plan. And it's really cool because you can print it off and give it to your doctors. You can give them to your dietitians. It just lays out everything. It actually shows a curve from your lifetime, because you talk about if the current symptom is happening now, if it's been in 12 months ago or 12 weeks, or a year, or if it's been more than a year. And then you took, like, you have your age, you're like, when did this happen? When did you first remember this happening? So there's like a curve, and it shows you your own personal journey of how you're addicted to these things. And it's just a magical.
Wow. Wow. So that must be the most comprehensive kind of way that you could screen for addiction.
Right. And it'll tell you whether at the end you'll know whether you're a harmful user, uh, and if you're an active user, because if you've, been using within the last 12 months, then you're probably, or 2 weeks, you're probably still have a lot of active addictions going on. And addiction it affects every part of your life: physical, psychological, social, and biological. So your health, your mood, your family, your friends, hobbies, work, it affects everything. It affects your whole life. um, so physical might be volatile blood sugars, type 2 diabetes, weight gain, fatigue, stomach problems. um, Psychological would be mood swings, false feelings, low depression, anxiety or isolation. I did a lot of isolating. Social might be communication problems or relationship issues, work related problems, feelings of being different and losing friends. Spiritual might be loss of meaning, maybe you losing your faith, fear and worry all the time. And you need a lot of biochemical repair. And it takes time for this because you didn't get here fast. You got here, it took you a while to get here. So teaching people how to deal with stress, sleep better. I use sleep tape. It's magical.
Oh, it's the best.
I take my mouth at night, and I haven't used a CPAP for years now since I've lost my weight, but the sleep tape really does help.
Yeah,
my husband
it
would
totally
like
does.
me to put it on like way earlier in the evening.
I joke about that with Bethany too.
You
No,
put that tape on.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, that's amazing. I'm hearing that list, and just based on what you told us about your story, you just checked off a whole lot of your own boxes and things that you were dealing with.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to. People need to know that they're going to expect to be. They need to expect to be uncomfortable when they're going through something like that. To be aware of all their thoughts and that thoughts are optional. Tracy taught me that all thoughts are optional. Your thoughts can't make you eat that piece of pie or that cookie that you want, and your mind wants predictability because it feels safe. It feels safe there, and we have power. We have powers within us to make our own choices. And I didn't really realize that I could make my own choices. Awareness is everything. Bitten always told me knowledge is power. I got it wrote down here. I like it a lot. Knowledge gives hope. Hope gives willingness. Willingness gives action, and action gives results.
I love that.
I like that a lot.
I love that. Wow. Okay, so you've already told us a few things that can help. It sounds like the group therapy can really help. Told us mindfulness practices, I'm assuming, can help if you're trying to separate yourself from your thoughts. You do need to see them as passing clouds, or I think Tracy describes them as buses. They're buses that go by, but that doesn't mean you need to jump on the bus. You can just watch the buses
Right.
go by,
Yeah,
which
I
is,
love that.
yeah, mindfulness, the practice of like watching our thoughts and just observing them and not doing anything. What are some of the other tools available to you as a coach and a practitioner that you can help people with so that they can they can heal themselves from addiction?
Well, you just got to accept the addiction and learn that it's about the brain. Once you accept that you have an addiction, you can deal with it. And again, sleeping, breathing techniques, knowing that abstinence from your drug of choice, and knowing that nobody's 100% perfect 100% of the time, and you're going to mess up, but you're going to get back on. I don't know. It's not your fault. I just want to tell everybody, when I scream to the rooftop, that this food addiction, sugar addiction is not your fault. We've been programmed for a long time to eat these things, and commercials, all the sugar is in everything. There's 100 names for sugar, hidden names that you don't even know the ingredients in your food. That's what look at the back of it. If it's got a long ingredient list, don't eat it. And first of all, you don't need anyone to understand what you're doing. It's your life, it's your journey. You want to show others that you see things as your own choice, and that you can change with different thinking.
Yeah.
And to notice when snacking becomes habitual. Because if it's starting to become habitual, then you're like heading in the wrong direction, and it can happen so quick, so easy.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. We mentioned other certifications that you've taken, and trying to cut them down to make your introduction was very challenging. You've done a lot of really cool programs with people out there. Can you talk about some of the ones that stand out the most to you?
Well, Nutrition Network, Doc encouraged me to help other people since I was able to do this, there are so many others that can do it too. You just have to have some courage and step out of your comfort zone. And He encouraged me to be part of the Society of Metabolic Health Professionals, and I followed the nutrition network path. If you're not already a medical professional, you can take these courses through Nutrition Network to become accredited member of the Society of Metabolic Health Professionals. And the courses were so fun. And you could do them at your own rate, at your own pace. And you didn't, there wasn't any time limitations on them. You could do them after work. You could, instead of reading a book or watching a movie, you could listen to the videos, and you have to answer some questions at the end, but they're magical. And I was like, man, I'd really like to be a coach. And they offered a coach practitioner program. So I followed that, and I was one of their first 12 to graduate. And it was the best experience that I've ever had. And I've met so many people along the way, got so many people that I can, colleagues that I can reach out to for help if needed. And I'm currently asked to been a tutor in the next 12. So it's really been kind of neat. I get to kind of go through the course again right now.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then actually, I met Benton Johnson there in that training. And, my brain lit up when she's a sugar addiction specialist. And I'm like, I gotta get more from her. So I'm currently in her holistic medication for addiction course because I wanted to learn more about biochemical repair and how I can help people with that. So that's what I'm doing now, and I love it.
That's great. So just to clarify something, we get asked about this all the time, but a lot of people listening to this podcast will have had some amazing story of themselves, like curing diseases and finding low carbohydrate diets for a various number of reasons. They might want to be able to help other people. And I think the common thought is like, I would love to help somebody, but I didn't go to school for 8 years. I'm not a doctor. There's really nothing I can do. You're saying there's lots of things that you can do.
Oh yeah. There is lots of things you can do to get out there and be a coach. If you want to get off medications and stuff, you need to be under a doctor's care. But you can coach people to eat the proper human diet. You can coach people and be their personal cheerleader and get them on board for proper nutrition and a ketogenic lifestyle that heals their bodies of so many things. Even people with PCOS have found benefits from this. There's many out there. There's so many things that this way of eating, just getting sugar out of your diet and flour, it just heals your body and your mind.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to try it for a while? I just encourage anybody listening to try it for 30 days. See what happens.